Well, hey guys, and welcome to the She-Hulk After Show, where we are going to have a full, open spoiler discussion about the latest episode of She-Hulk. We are so happy you're here with us. We've got the whole Batman Beyond crew here. So happy. Rob, welcome.
I'm back.
Yeah.
You know, I was mourning this morning, so I missed the show.
Aw, appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. Amy, how's it going?
Fine.
Yeah, still good?
Still here. They don't let me leave, so.
We also, of course, have Ray joining you in the chat.
On the show?
Yeah, Ray will be on the show.
Right.
Ray's here, Jonathan's here, Taylor's here. We're all here.
I'm pretty sure my camera's off, though.
No
it's
worries.
on. There it is.
Okay. Well, we are going to get into it with you guys, but first let's just talk about kind of basic reactions to this episode, because I feel like you guys have some different viewpoints here. Amy, how did you feel about this episode?
You know, kind of like I mentioned on the main show, I'm consistently liking not loving this show, and I want to love it because all the pieces feel like they're there. And this was the week I think it really clicked for me. Something's off in this edit. Something's off in the pacing, in the timing of even just a lot of the jokes. I don't feel. I've been trying to think of how to phrase this. I don't feel set. I'm sorry. There's like a whole production going on next to me. I'm really trying to be professional.
We're trying to have a fun show here. Although I agree with you entirely.
Yeah, I don't feel confident that the jokes are going to land. Does that make sense? Like when you watch something and you constantly feel a little on edge for the show itself of like, yeah, this is pretty good.
That's how I feel about this every day.
You got
Whoa, fair though.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and it just hasn't broken out of that yet where it's like, yeah, that was a funny joke. Everyone in this is good and they should be able to nail this. And like I said, I'm starting to think it's an editing issue for me. Something's just not quite clicking where I don't feel like I can sit back and relax. I feel like I'm constantly a little worried that the show's going to really veer from like a like to a dislike, and I don't want
Like a
it
nervous
to.
parent.
But I like a lot of the pieces in it. I like that we're kind of playing small ball with it, that it is still like, what is it like to date as a She-Hulk, you know? And these little sort of week by week, like, all right, this is the magician sending people to the, all right, yeah, let's do this guy this week. I don't want to see him again next week. That's perfect. And I like that the show's sticking to that. I hope they don't blow it up more. And obviously, you're going to have a through line, and I think, you know, they're gearing up to bring Jamila Jamil back, which is great. I'm excited to see her, but I like that they're keeping it a little small, little insular.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Rob, how did you feel about this episode?
I was not a fan
Yeah?
of this episode. I've been enjoying this show up until this particular episode. First of all, I agree with what you're saying. There is something the show's being made and cut like a traditional Marvel show.
Yeah.
And it's not being cut like it's a comedy.
Yes.
And they're not using cinematic techniques to make the jokes land harder. And I totally agree with you. But here's some of the things that I really objected to, and for me, it's always about the writing. Like when she's dating that first guy, you know, when Jennifer Walters is sitting there and she's talking to this guy, and he's completely like disinterested in texting, and I'm like, okay, to me, that is a construct of the movies. Like, I don't believe that anybody is that much of a douchebag when they're on a first date.
Well, and certainly, I don't know if anyone's going to call Tatiana Maslany a 6.
Well, yeah, I mean, all of that to me was unclever, forced writing. And I think what I wanted out of this show is, especially coming off of Byrne's run on Spectacular She-Hulk, is that I think it would have been a really interesting thing to examine, because Jennifer Walters is essentially a superhero civilian, whereas the Avengers are in the hollowed towers of Avengers land. I mean, Steve Rogers is not going on Tinder. You know, Tony Stark is not going on Tinder, but Jennifer Walters
He might be.
I mean, not anymore.
Not anymore. But Jennifer Walters has a really interesting. She isn't an Avenger. She isn't saving the world, and she's been asked as part of her professional life, being a lawyer, to be She-Hulk.
Yeah.
So she's got there's a lot of things to examine in her life that are ripe for comedy. And I feel that when they veer away from that, the show kind of loses me. Now, it was great that they brought Wong back again, but this whole magic castle, he's got a sling, a sling ring and all. I'm just like, and then it was just so dumb. Like these characters suddenly become these unbelievable sitcom, over the top. I didn't believe these characters at all. And it became a cartoon.
You didn't even believe Madison with two N's and a Y?
But
and
now,
where you think it is?
here's the thing. Now, the other side to that is I did like her because they if she was just on for a walk-on and left, I would have hated it. But the fact that she does know her Sopranos, like she knows all the seasons of the Sopranos, she knows what episodes. She wasn't stupid. Mm-hmm. And I've met people like Madison, that and I
it was an intense moment of eye contact.
But I really liked how that developed with Wong, and I'm ready for the Wong Madison show.
Oh my gosh!
We were
Like
saying, like getting some little Disney Plus shorts of them would be a delight.
I mean, it would be, because that's like if you're going to lean into that kind of stuff. But that's, again, that detracted from Jennifer Walters. It was like it was a B story that wasn't about our main character. And this idea about Wong, I even didn't believe that, well, we're going to sue him for using magic. I mean, bro, just use your spell, take the sling ring from him, and go back to Camartage. I mean, why are you I'm going to sue this guy? It was so stupid.
Because it's a procedural law show, Rob.
Right, but
plot.
But this is not the kind of, it was like the dating. It was a stupid, badly written idea that I hated. And then with the Galaxy Quest demon creatures that they're throwing, I'm like, come on, man.
I thought they were kind of cute.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie. I love these little rat babies.
It could have been like, I really wanted to see if they have what would real superhero legal issues be? Like if there were real issues, I don't think that Wong, as the Sorcerer Supreme, would bring a lawsuit against someone that has stolen their technology. He would just go take it.
I feel like if you really got into it, though, that's just the boys' territory. Like we're playing the Marvel version of what this show looks like.
Yeah. It would have been more interesting if these legal cases within the Marvel Cinematic Universe were really clever, interesting ways to look into what it means to be a superhero, or to live in a society where superheroes exist.
I think kind of picking off of that too, the idea of like, in Marvel, you're going to follow rules. We just have not established what those rules are. And so this is breaking new territory. So then okay, so we follow things to the letter of the law, and then all these other things we've thought about in terms of the supernatural, in terms of the mystic, are out the window because we have to go follow absolute legality? Or do we then play with the trope of, okay, well, this is how this happens now because we're dealing with wizards and demons and shapeshifters?
Well, and also they make Wong kind of look dim-witted in this. Like he wouldn't know this. I'm coming to sue this person. Like, come on, dude. Well, like you doing that is dumb.
We had an interesting comment today, someone writing into the main show saying they felt like the writer sort of misunderstood and thought we liked Wong ironically.
Right.
Which I thought was an interesting way to look at that.
Yes, you're absolutely
of like, no,
right.
we want him to be badass. We want him to be competent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he can be funny.
Yeah.
Like when he asks to borrow money from Doctor Strange to go buy a deli sandwich because he only has Kathmandu or money from Nepal. He doesn't have any. That kind of thing is funny. Like, why would he carry around money? If you're a sorcerer, why would you need money? Well, to buy a sandwich because you need a sandwich. So that is what they did to him now was they made him, and he's just a buffoon. I didn't like it.
I will say, did anyone else cringe a little bit at the like Wong gives us Twitter armor joke after how much backlash last week got on Twitter? I was like, ooh, you wrote that before you knew what the feedback was going to look like. Just made me a little like, yeah, that was a bold joke to write in before you actually knew what the Twitter feedback and discourse was going to look like.
I think so too. One of the things I took issue with this episode, because I did think it was a lot of fun antics and everything. I think I had a bit more of a fun time than you guys. My bigger issue was the through line of, hey, last week we had the Wrecking Crew show up trying to get her blood, right?
It almost felt like they were brushing it off to never touch it again, is like my fear.
Because that's what the one date with She-Hulk felt like, is maybe this guy's trying to like probe and get questions, especially with like the specimen thing, but also that's sometimes just how like a really creepy person talks to you on a date. So, the duality of it all. But then we get rid of that, and then we focus on Jamil coming back, Titania coming back at the end, and maybe those two things are connected. But it did feel like we're now getting thrown different through lines and not doing anything about them.
It also felt like I really felt like that doctor guy was going to be like a something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
How quickly it was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's all it is.
Well, it's almost like, oh, now that I've seen you in your regular human form, I'm disinterested. Like his whole thing. Of course, he knew that she would change back and forth. I mean, it's like, why then at the end of that episode, he's a doctor. He's not stupid, and you actually liked him. I mean, I liked that the way their relationship was developing. And
he felt too good to be true, and I thought there was going to be like a genuine like turn there of like, oh, he's a bad guy somehow, not just like kind of a shady
or he was
dude.
stealing. That's how he was going to get the blood
Exactly.
for the master, the leader, whomever. But
Unless they bring him back.
I just thought at the end when he dismisses her, he's looking at her in her human form, like, oh, I'm now disinterested in you.
Like, she can still turn into She-Hulk, my guy.
I mean, it's like, if that's your thing and you only want to sleep with me when I'm She-Hulk, I can arrange that.
Well, and that would have almost been more interesting because we've already had her go through that professionally. Like, that's a more interesting choice if he's like, oh, cool, can you turn into She-Hulk? And she kind of has to grapple with, he's not leaving, but he only wants me in She-Hulk form.
That's exactly what.
That would have been more interesting.
And the thing was, rather than have him be disgusted by it, then just bail, it could have been an ongoing, like a runner through the
kind of
next
the
episodes.
shitty boyfriend who only wants her for this. And
Yeah.
she has to step up and be like, no, you have to like both sides of me if you want this.
I mean, that's a really interesting story to tell, and I'm disappointed they didn't go that direction.
It would have been fun to explore it more than just the trope of, oh no, I went home with the guy and now he's not interested because we've already slept together.
Yeah.
Right.
There's more to explore there.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're all on the same page, at least with Madison, and we think that she's a treasure and that Wong is fun with her. The goat, you guys. Jake the goat. Can we talk about him? Because I want to believe it's Mephisto, and I know that's stupid, but come on. Mephisto's often goat-like.
Maybe.
He's usually Jack, not Jake, but liberties could be taken. I just see Mephisto everywhere now. I don't know.
Mephisto is everywhere.
Is Mephisto here now?
Right now.
Uh-oh.
Ray, it's a big reveal
Ray.
at the end of this
It's Ray.
season.
Ray's Mephisto.
Ray is going to be Mephisto. He's going to transform right on camera.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Hold on for what?
Oh, I'm on.
Yeah.
Hi, we're doing a show up here, bud.
By the way, we have nothing on the screen.
Yeah, I have no
here,
idea
Carlos,
what's
so you
happening.
can't see anything
Yeah.
that's happening.
Look, did Rob, did you go over your problem with it, right?
Yeah.
With the whole demon thing?
Oh, I didn't even get.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
I
got
talked a
into that
little
part,
bit about
yeah.
that. I just thought that whole, again, that was a sort of a trumped up. I thought it was silly. The whole vanquishing the demons, that whole storyline was. I mean, Wong would have put an end to that immediately.
I don't love that he threw the demons just somewhere else that wasn't their realm.
Right.
I was like, that feels like a lazy cleanup situation.
Absolutely. I mean, it's
What was your problem with it, though, Ray?
It just seemed misplaced.
Okay.
Like for me, she's in this this job. I know she's dealing with the superhero division, whatever. She's gonna see some stuff, right? But for some reason, the connection. I know Wong brings the portals and things like that. I just wanted to see a more, I guess, like I was telling Rob, like a street level villain, where it's more down to earth. I don't know, but then like she's She-Hulk, she should be able to toss those fools like anywhere. But I don't know. It just seems that whole Doctor Strange multiverse from a different dimension thing. It just doesn't fit with She-Hulk to me. I mean, she's going on these dates, and then all of a sudden, there's these demons popping out from a hole. It just didn't. I just didn't like that part. They could have threw anything else in there, and it probably would have made more sense to me in a way. I don't know.
well, tonally, it was way too silly. It's like you're watching Ghostbusters and that was Slimer and his amazing friends. It didn't fit with the tone. I mean, if you're going to do a real comedic show, like a Ally McBeal kind of a show set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you don't have to then make it silly. And it was like Thor: Love and Thunder. They went way too far with the silliness, and it undercuts the quote unquote reality of Jennifer Walters experiencing having to be a lawyer as She-Hulk. And I mean, there's so many more interesting ways they can go, and there's only 9 episodes of this show. and now they give us these goofy demons. You'd never see that in a main Avengers movie.
No.
They would never go that goofy.
And if I was going to add one last thing. If she was going to defeat anything, like I'm so into this character that I would enjoy seeing the battle in the actual courtroom, not like outside fighting. Like I want to see her win these court cases. Like I actually like that part of the show, where they're in the court. She's examining them. She's outwitting them, or whatever. She's getting that stuff done. I don't know.
I will just say, though, to the point of like you wouldn't see this in another Avengers thing, is I want it then to embrace how much you wouldn't see that, right? I want to embrace the weird wackiness of this.
Yeah, I don't want to see the same
And
stuff.
right now it does feel kind of splitting the difference still.
Yeah.
Of we're still part of the MCU. We can't go too weird aside from our fourth wall breaking and some other moments. And I really would just like them to go full hog, you know? I would like them to just get super friggin' weird.
Yeah.
And just do some bananas ass shit here. I think that'd be fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've liked the show up to now, but this episode really, I don't know why it put me off. The editing thing, it didn't seem as funny as it should be.
That's my biggest complaint.
You know, and it, like you said, it should have been funnier. And they should have used editorial more to sell those jokes.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess before we get to the live questions and everything too, y'all, I just want to ask, where do you think we're headed? Because we've had a few like things thrown in the fire here, but where is this show going, if anywhere?
Well, I mean, she's going to get sued now by Titania, but to me, it's like Titania did burst into the courtroom. It's not like She-Hulk wasn't defending whoever was in that room. And I think that going into episode 5, okay, is that the rest of the season? She's going to have to defend herself from this ridiculous lawsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. And somebody wants her blood. But how does anyone even know? I mean, I guess that they've said she got Hulk's blood in her. So I don't know. Again, it's the writing. These shows, I think the Marvel shows have all of them, with the exception of WandaVision, have been plagued by the writing is all over the place. It's not as focused. And now when we see shows like House of the Dragon, which has such focused writing, and when the juxtaposition of different genre material that we're seeing, I think that all of these shows are trying to do too much. Like Moon Knight, you're dealing with somebody, his Oscar Isaac's personalities was enough. But no, now let's add Khonshu and let's add all these crazy demon things and whatever. And so it spins off into this. On one hand, you've got this great human story. And then on the other hand, you have these two giant Egyptian gods fighting over the pyramids of Giza. Eating
And
the
no
souls
one
of,
noticed.
Yeah, eating the souls of the citizens of Cairo, like in a mass casualty event. And you're wondering, what's this about? Yeah. And you lose the fact that these should be about the characters. I mean, you got to go back to Iron Man 1. Iron Man 1 was so focused. Everything was about Tony Stark as a person, as a human being, and what he learned about himself and how he realized that he's not such a good person.
Yeah.
And that made it interesting. You didn't need... The sky was not falling. The battle at the end was literally for his company against his mentor. So it was always personal to him. And I feel that these stories, this in particular, you could go goofy, but I want to see the journey of Jennifer Walters dealing with her brand new Hulk persona, which seems to just be like, she's like, I'm a Hulk now.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like we're setting up anywhere for her to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Like there's not an obvious oh, this is her thing that we're going to have a whole character arc. And by the end, you know what, if that is, again, wouldn't have to be this, but I think a great example would be her learning to go, you can't only like me when I'm She-Hulk. If a job is not okay with me as Jennifer, if a romantic partner is not okay with me as Jennifer, they don't deserve me. I think would be a great,
That would be a
internal
great-
character arc.
That's your show, man.
And they haven't set up that character conflict, that issue that's going to be resolved. So I feel like that may be why it feels a little ungrounded too, just emotionally.
Yeah.
And then, it feels like, we're going to get Titania back, but I feel like it was the most boring way to bring that character back in. I'm like, a legal I get it's a law show, but if she's going to be your big bad,
Well, and also we haven't seen enough of her. They said she's an influencer. what does Titania as an influencer in this world, like, what does her Instagram feed look like?
Yeah,
Does
why
she
are we
do-
not seeing these posts as like little tags or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, like
On
how
real Twitter, she did get verified. So like,
That's
good
funny.
job, babe.
I mean, that's the thing. If there's and there's a lot to be. Can superheroes or supervillains have social media accounts, and what does that look like in this world?
Yeah.
I'd love to know how does that work? Is she posting
Love to
twice
see
a
those
day?
feeds, yeah.
Is she doing reels? Is she on YouTube? Like, what's she doing?
Yeah. Right now, I'm having more fun with Jamila's Instagram than the character on the show.
Yeah.
I feel her lack of presence very, very much right now. I'm excited for her to be back in there.
Yeah.
Ray, did you have something you
I
wanted to
just
add?
wanted to ask. There's
Yeah.
8 episodes, and
9.
there's no 9, and there's no second season or anything announced as this is a one-off, right?
There might be a second season of this
Yeah.
one. So far, this hasn't been
Okay,
touted as a
so-
limited series.
Okay. Well, I was just saying. I was just wondering how many episodes do they have left for all of this to unfold?
I mean,
They
we're
got
about
plenty.
halfway.
We're basically
They
at
got
our
plenty.
midway point. So
I thought it was 8, so 9. They got plenty of
Yeah.
episodes to work
hopefully
with.
we see things come together a bit more. But guys, we want to leave it up to you for you to talk to us about She-Hulk. We have those super chats open. We're going to take your live questions in just a moment. But before we do, we're going to thank the sponsor of this segment, the After Show, the good folks over at DraftKings.
Guys, we want to take a second and thank one of the sponsors of today's video, DraftKings. Now, guys, you know I am a huge sports fan. And football fans, the first Sunday of the NFL season is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the return of the NFL season. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. And as an added bonus for week 1, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's simple. Bet on an NFL team to win, and if your team leads by 10 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly even if your team goes on to lose. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code Campia to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet this Sunday. That's promo code Campia only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details.
And thank you to DraftKings. Remember, everyone, draft responsibly. Do everything in moderation. All right, we are going to get into your super chats, but first we have one member question, I believe.
Yeah, it's
All
from
right.
Blackjack Hooligan. It didn't make sense to me that the Sorcerer Supreme would have someone else clean up a mess he's more than capable of doing himself. Does disservice to Wong's character, especially after Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, maybe, and if they got into it, maybe Wong for once didn't want to clean up after somebody else. Maybe he had enough. Damn it, Doctor Strange. That's me just really fishing here. But how did you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I can agree with just a lot of the complaints of sort of weakening Wong as a character to make him like funny. I definitely see that complaint.
You know, it's funny to me that one of the great things about, I hate to bring up Star Trek, but it is Star Trek Day today. It's September 8th.
You bring up Star Trek all you want, buddy.
There are 2 overtly comedic episodes of Star Trek in the original series. There's Trouble with Tribbles and there's a piece of the action.
I know Trouble with Tribbles.
They never diminish the characters to make them funny. It's all situational. It's all our characters stay the same, and they are reacting to patently absurd situations, but they're still themselves. They're not dumb. You know, they're just like there's a great moment where Kirk is trying to drive a car, a stick shift, and he's not doing very well. And Spock turns to him and says something to the effect of, "You're an excellent starship commander, but as a taxi driver, you leave much to be desired." You know, and it's a funny thing coming from Spock, but it's based on the truth of the situation.
Yeah.
It seemed to me in this episode, they diminished the character of Wong. They made him, in a way, dim-witted. They made him seem like he didn't quite understand the ramifications of the situation. And to have to go to Jennifer Walters and bring a lawsuit against this guy these guys, why would you do that? How could he possibly think that the American legal system could ever figure out a way to limit someone's use of the mystic arts?
Oh, that feels very American to me.
We don't define that. I mean, it's not within our legal system. There's no copyright to this. He would have just walked in there and taken it as the Sorcerer Supreme. It made him, the very situation made him weak as a character. Nope, I got to handle it legally. Really? You're the Sorcerer Supreme. Why would you have to do that? And what? Go on a lawsuit that's going to potentially take years? Just go in and take the sling ring from the dude.
I feel like we got to be better with those sling rings, too. I mean, Ned grabbed one. Donnie grabbed one. Come on, guys. Handle your shit. Be better.
Yeah, I think I was kind of thinking when she was going to be defending superheroes, it'd be like, well, someone got injured due to you saving these people, or like, just things like that. This kind of went off the rails for sure for me. There is one more, and then we can go to the super chats. It's from Daniel Luna, who wrote this episode. Rob, spoilers left and right, and I'm barely on season 2 of The Sopranos. Thanks, Madison.
Oh, sorry that The Sopranos got ruined for you, man. That's a bummer. Such a timely time to be watching.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to those super chats.
Bert says, what a moment when Madison reveals that Tony, I presume Stark, kills Chris Bradley in an alternate universe. Will this be in a future MCU project?
I don't know. Christopher, they're making a joke.
Okay, I was like, what are we talking about? Did I have a stroke? Okay.
No.
All right, well, here we go.
Eliv Bay
Rosley.
Sorry?
Bay Rosley.
Bay Rosley.
This is an ongoing runner.
Oh. Madison, is that how you spell her name? Best post-credit scene of the series so far.
Oh, I love that little post-credit.
That was
of
cute.
Just naming cocktails. It was great. I love their dynamic. I think you're totally on the money, too, of just if they had shorts.
Yeah.
Just Wong and Madison shorts. I'd watch
But my
them all
God,
day.
just get like a director and an editor who know how to direct and edit comedy a little sharper.
It'd be fantastic. Be here
Direct
for
and
it.
edit.
James Argenta said, does Jen call friend Matt to advise her on case?
Well, we need to establish that they're friends. But maybe.
Yeah, why not?
Maybe.
Sure.
I mean, Jen seems like she'd have a whole lot of lawyers around her in the LA area, but maybe she and Matt are good buddies, or maybe she's friends with Foggy. I don't know.
That's another thing. You would think that this show, if she's the head of this division, we saw that there was one woman that works in the division as well, and that came in and left very quickly. Why doesn't she have like a meeting of everybody that works in that division and see what do they specialize in? Well, I'm personal injury, I'm this, I'm that, but they're all under the umbrella of this superhero division. We don't know anything about it. That's a really interesting trope for the MCU. Like and they would have a whole, I mean, there's a lot of comedy gold to be mined there.
Feels like we got really specific on like the Wong plotline stuff before we kind of fleshed out the world. I do agree
Yes.
with that.
Because we don't know her. We kind of know Pug at this point, a little bit of just like, he's a nice guy who knows where to poop.
Yeah, we didn't even
right.
know Pug was
But
there.
I want to know about Pug's law background.
Yeah. Tim Platt said, my heart kind of broke for Jen when that guy walked out on her the next day.
Yep.
Aw. I mean, for me, that felt very like broadcast from the beginning because he was so nice. Tell me more about your feelings was when I was like, oh, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's
Like
a
I said,
bad
I thought
man.
there was going to be more of a plot twist there, but
But if he had a superhero fetish and he satisfied it, that would have been an interesting thing
That
to
would have been
explore.
super compelling. Or if he was one of the people trying to get her blood or something.
Yeah.
And maybe he is. He might be coming back. We don't know.
I mean, he's a pediatrician
Oncologist.
so,
So he says.
yes, so he says.
So he says, sus.
Kind of weird that he didn't know who she was either, because like she's in the news. They had her side by side with her real, not just.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another thing.
yeah, I feel like the world understands how Hulks work at this point, right? Like this is pretty common knowledge.
Exactly.
Future Millionaire said, does Disney have to pay some sort of royalty to HBO and Peacock for The Sopranos and This Is Us, or is the footage free use?
They definitely would have to pay
Yeah.
to use the footage. Yeah. But they're Disney. House of Mouse has cash, baby.
To use footage, they have to pay, but you can talk about anything you
Yes.
want, but you show something. And if you use footage, you might even have to pay for the music rights that are in
Yeah,
that
that theme
footage.
song.
Yeah.
The theme song.
Because they
and
used the
then-
theme, they didn't show any footage though.
No, they just showed the This Is Us footage.
Right.
Right, and that
Yeah.
piece of music is not owned. It was not written for The Sopranos, so
Right.
they could license that music.
Right.
A good question.
Yeah. Sam Fisher said, we knew a trademark case involving a superhero name was coming. The legal case next week is going to be super interesting if handled right.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm glad you're
I
looking
mean,
forward to it. Like I said, it felt a little weak to me, but could be interesting.
I'm hoping this is when we get a lot of just like really big fourth wall breaking moments. I want the television equivalent of her ripping through a page like we have in
Right.
Sensational She-Hulk. And I think this is the episode to do that on of I didn't even name myself. Let's go back through, hop through the Disney Plus app, go back to the episode where she gets named. Like that's the kind of stuff I'm hoping happens through the trademark.
Yeah,
case.
that'd be fun.
I think that'd be cool.
Tim Platt said, definitely my least favorite of the four. I wanted to stick my head in a blender every time I heard Madison talk. It was like nails on a chalkboard. That's kind of the point, though.
Oh, Tim, I'm so sorry for every time you go to a drunk party with drunk girls because, boy, howdy, does that voice come out of me so always. I'm just, hey guys, I just need a little more vodka and
That's why you
that'll
stayed
be
away
fine.
in Vegas. That's why we never saw
That's
you.
why I never saw you guys. I didn't need anyone except for Aaron to meet Chrissy Denisio. And who is Madison if not her? What else we got?
Sam Fisher said, I need a show like Gogglebox that is just Madison and Wongers watching TV all day. I love the idea of Wong being friends with a random party girl.
I
It's a
love
good
that.
odd couple. It's very fun. Well, and I think that's actually where Wong works better because he does get to kind of, it grounds him. It makes him a bit of a straight man again. Like we're not seeing him like being dumb or silly. It's just him being this guy from a very different world than what she's from, and that makes it fun. That's like
Yeah.
the Wong I want to see. Just this guy who's like kind of grounded in this very serious world. Just like, what's blue curacao? Like that. That means nothing to me.
I mean, the another thing is Wong likes to go to karaoke. He's a party guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, doing Fight Club stuff with Abomination Party. I mean, if I had written this episode, I would have had them in a bar having the same conversation and then at the end jumping up to do, oh, that's our song. And they go lead to do karaoke.
that would have been more
That would've been
active.
really
You know,
good.
and it would have been, it would have been more fun to see that. And then, or maybe they had cocktails lined up in front of them and they're each
Yeah.
drinking them.
Doing taste testing?
Yeah.
Okay, this one's blue curacao. No one knows what it is. Go.
I mean, already that I'm seeing that. I'm like, why didn't they do that?
Yeah.
Well, they already have a mission to find bottomless gin and tonics.
Yeah, which, if they find that in LA, I want to know. I want to be aware.
She's like, I don't know if it exists, but we'll find
But
it.
we'll find it.
I love her confidence.
Evelyn Jorquera Quiros, sorry if I said that wrong, said, we need a Wong and Madison show of them watching TV.
Oh, yeah, I would watch their Twitch channel of them just commentating on stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'd love that.
Like a mystery science theater.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
Fry Mini said, Amy, you had me at Meat Tornado. Assuming. Thank you. Thank you for the shirt shout out. Fry Minis also said, Rob, did you see Star Trek Day, USS Titan A? Whoa.
Yes, I did.
How do you feel about that?
I've seen the Titan A in action.
Oh,
I know all about the Titan A.
this is okay. Yeah.
Tough ship.
Circle gets the square now.
Has to
Now
go
I'm
through a lot of
understanding
stuff.
things.
Hopefully we'll see it next week. The next episode.
No, you'll see it on February 16th.
Nice.
So exciting.
And Fry Minis also wants to know, Ray, what's the best dip sauce for lumpia?
If you've ever heard of banana ketchup, that is my jam. I use that. I don't know what people like the sweet chili, but I go to my banana ketchup. That's the only thing I would dip it in.
There's banana ketchup.
Yeah, it's so
You've never heard of
good.
It's like okay. John will probably throw up if I describe this in front of him, but
John
it's
eats mozzarella
it's
sticks
just a
dipped in sour
sweeter-
cream. His
It's a
opinion is
sweet
no.
ketchup, Rob. Just put it that way.
Okay.
That's all it is. I mean, I don't know if there's bananas in there or whatever, but it's a sweeter ketchup. That's
It's
it.
good. It's very
All right.
tasty.
I'd try
I'm
it.
proud that you know what that is.
Yeah.
Whenever I say banana ketchup, people are like either, what's that? Or they're like,
I have some in my fridge right now because I wanted to make Filipino spaghetti.
you make
I haven't made it before, but I want to.
tell me
Coconut
more.
spaghetti with banana ketchup.
Tell me more, Chris.
Juan Benitez says, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Feige got me again. Donnie Blaze, LOL.
I kept waiting for that name to mean something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
man.
people at first in the trailers like Johnny Blaze. Look, Johnny Blaze. It's like
No.
Donnie Blaze, and no.
No, this was another Ralph Boner situation of just it's just there. Don't worry about it. Look at this guy. I mean, this is such a magician though too. Like
I did like his hype man though.
His hype man's
yeah.
great.
That was just like a fun, weird. See, the more the show leans into that, of just like,
Yeah.
who the fuck's that guy? And it's like, now, like I don't want this to branch out. I just want more weird shit.
But why does the hype man have an office and portrait of himself?
Yeah.
He's Mephisto. He's everywhere.
Who
all I
knows?
Not everyone's Mephisto.
Everyone
I'm so
is.
sorry. Tim Platt said, last
But
comment.
somebody is.
Overall, this episode wasn't as funny to me as the others, which was a shame, but nothing egregious to keep me from tuning in again.
Yep.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that it was a little too innocuous. I mean, it's whatever. I want this show to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It has so many factors that should be so much more than fine.
Yes.
And it makes it like almost a little insulting how like fine it is.
Yeah.
I think it's because the episodes don't check all the boxes. You'll get one episode that's like, okay, it checked these, but not these. And then you'll go to another episode like, well, it checked these, but not these.
Yeah, and I
So
almost
you're
just
just
wanted
like,
to pick a group of boxes and go, we're gonna knock these out of the park
Yeah.
every time.
And then
knock those boxes.
Knock those boxes.
Get up in that.
Whoa.
what I was going to say is that like even the fourth wall breaking is not even a trope for the show. They just do it occasionally.
Yeah.
And it's not
I want more.
I want more of that too, and more of that because that would I think help the humor. Like
Yeah.
when she's fighting these demons, that would be a time when she breaks in and is like, "Can you believe this?"
I want the full Fleabag, just like the occasional glance.
Yeah.
Like I want it to just go so far that occasionally she's just like looking at the audience like, you believe this shit? And then just going right back to what she's doing. Like more of that, please. Shay said, if they don't announce a Madison Disney Plus show at D23, we will riot.
Yes, we will. That's the big bomb being dropped tomorrow.
Yep.
Is Madison now streaming? Oh my gosh.
Should I create the graphics for it already?
Yeah,
Please.
Madison, Coven of Jake.
I would watch it.
Abraham Ruiz said, guess it wasn't Johnny Blaze, huh? LOL.
Yeah, it wasn't. Oh well.
Max Vem said, Madison is the baby Yoda of the MCU.
Just a sweet, tiny, drunk baby.
Yeah.
Love her.
Love her. Yeah,
Well-
she's every woman I've ever met in a bar bathroom. Like, truly.
That is so accurate.
Yeah.
And also, God, I resemble that statement.
Leo Leong said Reese Coiro as Donnie Blaze was awesome. Loved him on Entourage. I half expected him to yell out, "What do you want, suit?" in the courtroom scene.
That's where I recognized him
Yeah.
from.
Okay, I wasn't an Entourage person. I don't.
Yeah, he was the director.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, he was good. He was a lot of fun. Suthius said, confirmed Madison is now Ghost Rider.
Oh, that would be a really fun, horrible twist.
Now that she gave her blood, it's like, what did she sign?
Exactly.
I mean, it would be interesting if a girl like Madison ended up being imbued with superpowers.
Yeah.
Then what would happen? Then we probably get the
Shenanigans.
show that She-Hulk should be.
It would be really weird and fun.
I love the idea of someone getting powers who just absolutely can't handle them.
Yeah.
That's just such a delightful, like, it would happen at some point if superpowers were real. Like,
Absolutely.
it's not always going to be like the kid who wants to save his neighborhood that gets bit by the spider. Like, there's going to be some
sometimes-
shithead that gets bit, and like, what the heck?
Be a party girl who hangs out in Vegas a lot.
Yeah.
I love that.
Gabriel LaRue said, give me a Madison Valkyrie drunk road trip movie now.
Yes.
That would be delightful.
That would be a real fun time.
Though I think Valkyrie would kind of hate
Yeah,
Madison.
I feel like she'd be like, ugh, you're annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it depends on the kind of drunk wave she's riding, though. Because a party girl like Madison, you have like two interactions with. Either you are totally vibing and you're like, yes, we're best friends. We will get brunch tomorrow. No, we won't. Or it's, I hate this person and I want her to die right now.
Yeah.
Or
So
it's just
also
one
the
of those,
settings I
you
usually
can
hit
take
with people.
Madison in doses, but I can't see her all the time. But she's fun like once a month.
Yeah.
You don't invite Madison to a party at your house. You invite her out when you're going to another location.
Anywhere you can disavow knowledge of her.
There we go.
Oh, I don't really know her.
Yeah, anywhere you can kind of
We're
just
not
leave her
close.
and be like, she's
I
fine.
don't even know her last name.
She's not in my house. Yeah. Suthia said, okay, the whole precipice thing from Wong in the trailer was taken way out of context
yeah.
and had a different meaning by how we used it in
Oh,
this
yeah.
episode.
Welcome to
That's very
Marvel.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Welcome to
editors for all these
Marvel.
trailers and everything, they're
They know what's up.
moving things around.
That's a misdirect.
Exactly.
Andy said, give me more Wong and Madison adventures. Madison is surprisingly delightful, and so is this duo. Also, Madison looks like an awesome cross between Elizabeth Olsen and Chloe Feynman from SNL. See that? I want Wong and Madison to get drunk together and go out for karaoke with Shang-Chi and Katie.
Yes.
I mean, that's something that we should have seen.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the ultimate ender of this. Maybe that'll be the final tag.
Even if it was just they were getting up for their song and Hotel California came on and they both just went, Shang! And then it cut, like that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
I would have loved it.
Andy said, this episode reminded me of the Supernatural Season 4 episode, Chris Angel is a douchebag, which would be the perfect title for this She-Hulk episode as well.
It really could have been. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Tim Platt said, fun fact, the first guy Jen goes on a date with as She-Hulk is former wrestler David Otunga, who before wrestling was a lawyer himself. That is a fun fact.
That was him? There's no what?
The first guy?
He thinned out then. There's no way. That
That's-
first guy with that I called homeless Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, at the bowling alley.
He was great, by the way. Like as soon as she started saying her stuff, and he's like just pulls his phone. I was
I mean, it's very
like,
caricature, but it was funny.
it was
Yeah.
funny
It was
because
nowhere
it's
rooted
like,
in reality.
it's like the extreme of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of who's going to pay the bill. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, that's
I
one of
think the
oldest
only one
jokes
that
in the world.
bothered me was the like watching the girls go by. That's where I was just like, all right, no one would. Because I've seen people be pretty shitty on dates.
Sure.
Yeah. We live in Los Angeles. People
Yeah.
are nightmares.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But it was every cliche. It wasn't clever. I wanted it to
Sure.
be clever.
I think they did it that way instead of doing a montage of multiple guys. I think they just showed it all in one guy.
That
right?
would have been more fun too to get a montage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're
just
me
like
and
the
John were
Tinder
saying.
dates.
Back to
Yeah.
the
I would have liked a
editorial.
real quick batch of Jen's dates to see how bad it was for Jennifer dating, because she's talked about how dating is horrible and how most guys that she goes out with aren't really great. So it would have been more fun to have that evidence instead of just being told that, to be shown it,
Yeah.
and not in just one person who just personified all of that.
Yeah. Casey Mack said, I'm starting to think Todd, the guy that was just to Interstellar in She-Hulk, a little too much, is who the Wrecking Crew called boss.
Oh, the guy who kept asking about, like, oh my gosh, you're incredible. And
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I thought was happening in this episode, was he was some kind of mole who was trying to
Well, because then he was even like specimen and like
exactly.
I hope that's right, because I'm a little worried this show's just we're gonna get done and we're gonna all go, wait, what about these four things? Like,
Yeah.
I'm hoping something like that sort of pulls all these threads together. That'd be nice.
And I find that to be a much more interesting moment than it's just a guy who's kind of creepy and fetishizing her.
Yeah.
Because if that's what everyone's doing who's going out with her, that gets really redundant. You know, if it is somebody who truly is like, from a science perspective, I'm trying to analyze you and I want your blood, then that becomes an actual plot device as opposed to, you know, a trope of men being crappy towards her.
Sure. Fry Minnie said, Chris, you're a great host. Top tier energy.
Oh, thanks, dude. I am chugging coffee. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm dragging ass today. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Like a dog. Like dog drags across the carpet.
Not like that. I'm not dragging my poo butt, but you know.
Oh, here we go. This one's for you. Jay Master said, Madison making a deal with a demon goat named Jake. Mephisto confirmed.
Thank you, Jay.
In an article on Screen Rant, they point out this episode sets up Daredevil appearance thanks to Titania lawsuit trademark.
I mean, it
But-
could be the one where Matt shows up. But any legal case could be where Matt shows up.
Yes.
Trademark law,
If it's them being in a court, well, I have great news.
he shows up there sometimes.
But as he passed the bar in California.
Exactly. So he can be a consultant,
Right.
but if we're going to get into the nitty gritty here, he can't.
I mean, but we see him launch off a car into her in full garb. This show has to take a turn at some point because it's not going to be like, oh, I'm defending this client, so let me ram my car into you and go flip in the air and then ask you questions as Daredevil. Obviously, there's some twist here.
Yeah,
turn.
Yeah.
she gets into a case that he's very interested in.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping it's something that kind of carries over from Kingpin or something like that, which I know, again, that's all more serious, but it'd be fun to do a little bit of world building and connecting.
Yes.
Just a tiny bit.
So we just did J Master, right?
Yeah.
Monkey Boy said Jake Lockley equals Jake the Goat equals Mephisto.
Whoa.
Also, Rob, I think unbelievable goofy characters are what they're going for in the show. It's parodying them.
I don't think it's doing it enough. You
Yeah.
either go goofy or
Yeah,
you
you have
don't.
to commit.
Yeah, this show wants to have its cake and eat it too, and I don't think it works
Well, and I think that's
tonally.
a problem with a lot of media right now too, is if you try to do satire, real life is so bizarre right now that to take a satirical approach to things often falls flat because reality is stranger than fiction in the moment.
Well,
In
I
this
mean,
show, we got to go full weird on it.
the thing was the first episode where she's become Hulk and she's dealing with Banner. All of that was very interesting, and them working together, but that was still within the confines of how the MCU works.
Yeah.
And the problem of being the Hulk, like having shopping, for instance. There's been no shopping montage where she's tried to find, something or anything like that. And there's enough going on being She-Hulk herself that has a lot of comedy fodder to be mined. I just think that having these goofy monsters is too much. It doesn't work with that first episode. I mean, two Hulks talking to each other about being the Hulk is goofy enough. I mean, there's a lot of funny wackiness in there, but when you have, demons, like, I made a deal with a demon goat named
And Jake, he took 6 drops of my blood. He took me to a different dimension.
yeah.
Can't talk about it. This is who I'm going to be for Halloween.
There you go.
Oh, Logan can be the goat. We were trying to figure out Halloween costumes earlier. There we go.
It's Black Phillip from The Witch.
Yeah.
Live deliciously.
She is living deliciously.
She is living deliciously.
I love that about her. Bert said, during the trial, was I the only one expecting Don Blaze's manager, Cornelius Willows, to fake a heart attack while saying, this is the big one? You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey. Mr. Leon Lamar was a Red Fox doppelganger. R.I.P. Red Fox.
Oh man, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still way more interested in the hype man than Donnie himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
He seems like he's got something else interesting going on.
Yeah.
Maybe he's Mephisto.
That's what I think. Everyone is.
The-
We all are.
The Jay Shrey way said, MCU doesn't know how to treat heroes like celebs.
So
Food for thought.
kind of like how The Boys does it, I like with lampooning stardom, or just that they're not getting the same real world attention. I'm interested in what you mean here. What do you guys
Well, it's funny because Tony Stark in Iron Man 1 is already a celebrity.
Yeah.
Pre-Iron Man, he's a rich scion of a family that has been around for a long time, and he's hilarious. I mean, throwing gang signs and having drinks in the back of a military vehicle as that movie opens.
Yeah.
So, but they're right. I mean, if these superheroes are as well known as they are, they would all be celebrities. And I find that they don't do enough of that with her either. Like if she's She-Hulk, there's a lot of disinterest in her own law firm from people that I would think would come up to her just to ask her questions.
Yeah.
Like, what's it like to be a Hulk?
Well, and I think that's something that's missing too from hanging out with the other members of the legal team too, is you're only here because you're a Hulk.
Yeah, and if you think about the great legal shows like LA Law or Boston Legal or whatever, there's always a team of people around them, other lawyers. Like I keep thinking about Arnie Becker in LA Law. He was such a douche, but I love that character. And they would all consult on cases, and you'd think that a superhero law division in itself is hilarious. And what are they going to deal with? And we just don't. We're not seeing that.
Exactly. It feels like a bit of a letdown too, just after how fun that shapeshifter case was. Like that's the kind of stuff I want to see. I love those antics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is She-Hulk, attorney at law. So let's see more of that.
Yeah.
Aiden Foley said, I was really rooting for this show, but I think I might tap out. It's not working for me. The humor to me feels like it knew every aspect of comedy I dislike. It grew hands and wrote the script. Damn, Aiden, tell us how you really feel.
Oh, hey, and that's fair. If this show isn't for you, no big deal. The MCU is filled with all kinds of different things. I'm excited that they're playing with different genres. But hey, if this version of comedy doesn't work out for you, no big deal. It's okay.
I feel like if I wasn't on this show, it would at least be I'm going to let a couple come out and then maybe try to plow through them and see if it picks up for me.
This does have a very binge vibe to it.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could just power through all 9 at the same time.
And generally, I love the week at a time, get to kind of digest, but
Yeah.
yeah. Kevin Joyce said, in my opinion, it feels rushed because they're packing in a sitcom storyline with an action-packed superhero storyline into a sitcom episode length and some change.
I agree with that too.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, they're not a sitcom format still has a story with the beginning, a middle, and an end. And to a certain extent, this episode felt that way. It brought up, Wong, but it's the same. We saw Wong last week. So now Wong is involved in a totally different story that's no longer involved with Blonsky. So it's like, well, now that I know you, I've come back with another problem.
Yeah.
And it seemed odd.
Now he's got a kind of Kramer vibe where he's a wacky neighbor just popping in.
Right.
Whoa.
Literally, that's what he does. The portal opens.
That'd be great.
Just coming through that portal Kramer style.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man, they bring back Soup Nazi, but it's Red Skull. Ah! Be wild.
Gabriel LaRue said, after disappointing dates, you think Pug got a shot?
Hell yeah. Pug cute as hell and he know where to poop.
In a wig?
Not in a wig.
I feel like she would have a no dating coworkers vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which is
I
a
do too.
shame. Pug deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves that shot.
Yeah. Well, and in the comics, Pug has, he really carries a torch for Jennifer, and I don't believe they ever get together.
Probably not.
Oh, poor Pug.
What are you going to do?
Fan fiction. Aiden Foley said, Wong dancing to Sopranos was great, though. That was.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
He's a huge Sopranos fan. He's
Yeah.
gotten into the show. And who doesn't love that song?
Yeah.
Well, and
bop.
Wong slowly discovering pop culture is where I think like wacky Wong thrives. That's the
Yeah.
wackiness I want.
Yes.
Of just who is Beyonce, what is the Sopranos?
Because he's not dumb. He just wouldn't know that.
yeah.
And it's also kind of paying off something we didn't see with Steve Rogers. Because Steve Rogers had that little thing of everything he missed. He had the little notebook and he was writing down in it. But we never saw him really discover any of that.
Yeah.
And now Wong can do those things.
I'm just going to say it, and I rarely feel this way, but this show needs more montages. I feel like there's so much of like, I want to see Wong like having these adventures. I want to see Jennifer like trying to find an outfit for work.
Yeah.
Like there's so much shit that could just be like a fun little comedy montage that they're not.
When it works so well in the sitcom format,
Yeah.
that it seems silly that they're not using that.
Yeah. Wade O'Neill said maybe the doctor guy was after her blood, i.e. on the Wrecking Crew thing.
That's what we hope, Wade, is that there's some kind of through line here with that. So he wasn't just some schmuck who dated her and used her.
Right.
We want him to be using her for her blood. That's so much better.
It is true, though. Like, kind of unwise to just be like, let me go hang out with these unvetted randos. Like, after some dudes tried to kill me the other day.
Yeah.
Like, I know she's She-Hulk. I know she'll be fine, but like...
Also, now that I think about the logistics behind all this, so he spends the night, they go to sleep. Did she stay in Hulk form the entire time when she was asleep?
I mean,
Like, he
as
never-
long as he was
it-
asleep.
I guess so. I mean, maybe.
But I think episode 1 established that in her sleep she changes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but he didn't notice that.
No,
He
was
probably
asleep.
fell asleep right
I was
away.
tired.
It's a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like we
being-
all
I'm
just
talking-
are like,
I'm talking about
nah,
being
we don't want to demonetize it.
Being a pediatrician is a lot of work.
I
It's
know.
tired.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
long hours that day.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Drinking, waiting for her.
I don't know what
He
you
might
guys are
have
talking
worked
about.
like splits or like a 36-hour shift or something.
Sure.
Yeah, worried.
Speaking of splits,
So if he was spooning her and she, reduced
Or
in
the
size,
sex.
could be
Oh, were we not going to go? They had sex, you guys.
hold on.
a lot. Probably.
Back up. They had
Whoa.
what?
Whoa.
I have some questions. I'll wait till
wonder
we're
if
done.
the question is, if you're a Hulk, is it harder to get where you want to go, to finish, so to speak?
These
Oh
are the
my lord!
Why would
these are the
Oy.
existential questions we need.
Why would
answered.
that be harder?
I don't know, because like things affect
Yeah,
you
I
differently.
just, like, they ignore
feeling
my-
like if you're invulnerable, is it more difficult
hints.
to
to have that happen?
Yeah.
do things work differently because you get drunk differently?
Like her skin's impenetrable. Does that affect sensitivity?
Exactly.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Green.
It's a fair question now. that I'm
See,
asking.
now you're pondering it, going.
I don't like that I'm pondering, but I'm pondering.
I did ponder these things. I was like, wait.
Kevin Joyce still overall enjoying the show, all things said.
Hey,
Glad to
great,
hear
Kevin.
that.
We're so glad.
Sam Fisher said, what Twitter joke are you talking about? Oh, I think referring to when I said, when she said,
Wong
I love
is-
having Wong back. It's like having Twitter armor.
Yeah.
And like I said, just he was on the episode last week and Twitter on the whole was not thrilled with the episode. So it just felt like a bit of maybe shouldn't have written that joke before we actually knew what the discourse and the perception around this show was going
There's
to
a
be.
lot of confidence in that joke.
A lot of
A lot of
confidence.
confidence. Yeah.
Juno Faulkner said, I think that weird guy Todd, who was super interested in her powers during their date, is going to be the boss of the Wrecking Crew. Maybe they're all in on it.
It's all these different people are part of Wrecking Crew. That
Could be.
fun.
Again, it'd be interesting. Yeah. Jay said, I like the show for the comedy and absurdity. I don't feel like the cases need to be serious. I think it kind of defeats the purpose of it being a comedy.
I understand that, Jay, but I also think there does have to be just a monochrome of reality that you can connect to here.
Yeah.
You know, because it is still part of the greater MCU. Even as ridiculous as Deadpool can be, right? There's still a lot of stuff that grounds Wade.
Well,
to
even like the
things.
shapeshifter, I think was a sillier case, but made logical sense.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that she was from Asgard, she was you know,
Tied it in nicely
Yeah.
to the world that we've established. Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's working for you, hey, cool.
Yeah. Blackjack Hooligan said this episode felt like a C-list episode of its Ally McBeal inspiration without the clever writing and sheen of a Marvel production that we're used to.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
You know, I want this show to be much funnier and better and cleverer than it is. It should be really, really clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Tyra Banks right now of just I was rooting for you. That's I just want it to be so funny. And I am enjoying it, I think, a little bit more, but it's still not quite the weird,
Yeah.
wonderful thing that I've hoped for.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels cliche and it needs to feel like trope heavy, but original.
Well
yeah.
said.
Thanks. Mode Awesome said, this was my favorite episode. I think it's supposed to be wacky on purpose, but hey, it's all subjective. To be fair, the writers on this episode are different.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. It did have a different feel to it. And if this is the wackiness that works for you, that's awesome. I just hope that, again, there's a little bit more streamlining of like what the show wants to
Yeah.
be.
Yes.
Not here to whack on your wacky, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow. That's a new one.
You guys gave each other like an air high five. Like,
Oh, I felt the whole table go. Ma'am? Mr. Talk About It said the show thinks she's in the right for catfishing. How is she catfishing?
That's literally what she looks like and is.
Yeah.
And it's what they requested.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, this is the She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I want to be with her. And
If-
he was.
If I put up a picture of She-Hulk and then was like, "Hi, I'm Chris Carr,"
That's
that is
catfishing.
catfishing.
Is it
But-
catfishing because she's not always in She-Hulk form? I say no.
No, because he got what he wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, he did. The Inedible Hulk said, Sopranos is probably why Wong was late in the last episode.
Probably.
He was binging.
You get really drawn in. The drama of it all. Woo.
CJ Adams said, I'm confused about the guy in the bar. He seemed like he was framed to be a creep, but all he did was say hi, and if you want drinks, I'm over here. Oh, that's true. The guy who came up to talk to...
They were
Yeah.
working. They're like, we're working. He's
Well-
like, well, if you change your mind, whatever.
Was he the best? No. Was he the absolute worst? Absolutely.
But it was
not.
a bit of a like, we have enough shitty dudes in this episode. I don't really see what purpose he filled in.
Yeah.
Right.
Beyond just feeling
I
a
actually
little...
thought there was more to him. I thought he was like watching them or something, but then nothing came about it.
Yeah.
He's Mephisto.
Yeah. Well, yes, of course.
Yeah, it did feel a little though like if someone comes up to you in a bar, shoots their shot, and you say no, and they're like, all right, here if you change your mind.
Yeah.
That's acceptable
That's a
bar
Tuesday.
behavior. Yeah.
That's normal.
Setting the scene
Yeah.
with that guy. I mean,
But yeah, again, we're getting enough shitty men in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
It's raining shitty men.
Hallelujah.
Oh.
Suthius said, nerd guy who asked about vibranium could be the same guy, Thunderball, who tried to stab her with the needle. Hence the question.
Yeah, he
also
was
sounds
asking a
alike.
lot of questions.
Yes.
Yeah. Very specific questions
Interesting.
too.
Yeah.
You mean like vibranium?
Yeah.
Oh, just wondering.
So that I hope there's a through line here. I hope we're not just getting a few little like, oh hey, could that penetrate your skin? Anyway.
It just feels like a bummer that it's like, I hate that we have to be like, are we giving this show too much credit? Like,
Yeah.
that's a bummer feeling. Mode Awesome said, although I agree, the writing dialogue feels rushed. Yeah, again, pacing just feels off.
A little off. Mm-hmm.
Jay Master said, This Is Us is a production by Disney branded television and ABC Signature, airing on NBC.
Well,
There
there
you
you
go.
go.
There you go.
So they have the rights all along. Good job, House.
Of course they do.
that
I'm
was the
sorry.
twist of the
I'm sorry.
episode.
Why did I doubt Disney didn't own something? Silly me. Jeffrey Lindenblatt said, it would have been a fun Easter egg if the magician name would have been Tony Blake. I think Rob will only get this reference.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Tony Blake.
Hi, we're doing a show. Want to join us?
I was actually reading S. Beam's question up top.
Saying it would have been fun if the magician's name was Tony Blake.
I'm not getting that reference.
Like the producer of Sliders. Is it a Star Trek reference? I don't.
Tony Blake. I'm drawing a blank on Blake.
I mean,
So-
well done there with that wordplay.
I mean, it's funny because when you're on the show, you have to adjust your thinking. I'm not thinking outside of the box
This is very
usually.
true.
Yeah, think
So
outside
I'm like,
the bun,
Tony
baby.
Blake. I'll probably walk out here and go, "Oh yeah, now I
Yeah.
remember it."
Sure
Then
you
we'll
will,
have
bud.
to start recording again just to say you remembered it.
So actually, you know what? I haven't been recording. I don't even think we're live.
Oh, perfect.
Talking to
We've just been
ourselves.
talking to each other.
This
Shit.
is a pre-run.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
It's
just.
like Tony Blake did,
We just do this for fun.
Adventures of Superman in 1993.
Is it a Mighty Seven reference?
Yeah, the Tony Blake.
Dude, that's a deep cut, man.
that's a deep. Yeah,
Like, I don't.
The first cut is the
The
deepest.
first deep
And
cut
the
is the
problem
deepest.
is he
Yeah.
left-
I mean, Tony
chat
Blake,
already.
because Superman is, of course, magic is his weakness.
His weakness, yes.
Mm.
Well,
My only weakness.
Sorry.
Bullets.
We can't move on to the next question.
sorry, thanks, Ray. Thanks.
S Beam said, why are they making Jen unattractive? That doctor is a damn moron. I'm not liking this show very much, but I'm too invested in the MCU to give up on it. Yeah, I just always hate that trope of like, she's not like a conventional Hollywood hottie, so we're going to ignore the fact that she's like very pretty and charming.
But like, she is.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
But I'm saying when it's not the like conventional, like perfect look. Like she's got a unique look, but she's a beautiful woman. And I hate when shows, it's like, this feels very like 90s, how we treated actresses.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we've come to a place where it's like, no, I think we can all agree that's a pretty woman. Like,
How do you guys feel about this viewer's second statement about being invested into the MCU and not feeling like they want to give up on it?
Well, you
Or,
know,
like,
you know what's
wanna-
funny? You say that because I was thinking we wouldn't have this conversation with like any other like sitcom that was on NBC or whatever. We wouldn't feel like, well, I gotta watch it though because I gotta stay up with the timeline of Marvel. It's like we'd just be like, oh, you know, I don't really like The Big Bang Theory or How I Met Your Mother, so I just stopped watching it after. And no one would be like, what? You stopped watching it? Or people wouldn't be like, you know what? I'm done with NBC because they made this one sitcom that sucks. It's like
it's true.
people feel like this pressure
Yeah.
to keep up with it, and I don't think you need to be.
Yeah, you don't.
But also, like, I mean, unless you're watching Young Sheldon, I guess, like, it's not like, like, I have missed
example.
shows and had to go into movies and be like, who's that? You know, I doubt this is going to have massive ramifications
Yeah.
into the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I don't know that.
I also love when people have those gaps though, and are like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "My moment has come." Okay, here's what you
Whiteboard
need to know.
appeared.
Quiet, we're in the theater.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like this person might be able to benefit from, like you were saying, letting some episodes come
just
through
binge it.
and watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're watching something and you're just getting annoyed after every episode and you're like, should I keep watching this?
Yeah.
You know what? And you're determined to watch it. Just watch something else. Wait till all of them come together.
Yeah.
And then watch it all at once.
Because it will only
you-
be 2.5 hours, really.
Because you know what? The last episode could be the one where you're like, oh my God.
Glad I
this
stuck it out."
series was great. You know, when I think there's always those moments where you realize if this was really something you liked or not.
Plus, if
It
you
takes
wait, it's a lot easier to be like, hey, people I know who are still watching this, worth it? Not worth it? Like, I feel like a lot of times I'll ask friends or people like, oh, are you watching that? Because there's so much these days.
Yeah.
It's like, is that worth my time?
Yeah, I'm the master of skipping things. So if you need any tips, you know, just
Ray always got
message
you.
me. I'll let you know how to skip things. A lot of.
V with the 24 super chat. Thank you, V.
V.
Said, I super chat to Perry Nemiroff after 2 episodes. Is there a problem with She-Hulk? Because everyone's saying it's all Wong.
Oh boy.
You're lucky you sent in $24. On latest episode, she broke the fourth wall, said, I guess Wong is back. Everyone loves Wong. Felt like they were talking to me.
Well, V, First of all, thanks for the support.
Thank you so much.
And they
yeah.
were talking to you. That's why they break the fourth wall. They're talking
directly to you.
To you.
Next week she's gonna go, this is for V. And it'll just be a Wong
How
episode.
crazy would that be?
Oh, I'd love it.
The Inedible Hulk said, bet Old Man Steve is the villain like in Civil War.
You never know.
Old man Steve just grabbing Jen's phone and going, "Why do you have a photo of my ass from Winter Soldier?" That's all I want. That's all
Why
I
would he
want.
say?
Because it's specifically from it's like a Winter Soldier shot.
Yeah.
Basically of like,
Yeah.
why?
How'd you get this shot? It's
Yeah.
weird 'cause
I mean,
both
what if
cameras are out
I
here.
could see if they brought back Old Man Steve and he has a case he's bringing against the United States government to get his military pension because they owe it to him from the 40s. Like that could be an interesting
That could be
story.
interesting and also very heartbreaking and too real.
Yeah, I mean, but it would
Yeah,
be the
just
kind
get
of
into
thing,
the mistreatment of veterans in this country. Like, I thought this was a comedy.
but it could be done in a comedic way,
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, right.
And it would be a legitimate.
MASH found a way. They could.
Yeah, absolutely.
MASH this show is not.
I mean, he could be like, with Tony Stark gone, no one's giving me any money.
Yeah.
I don't have any cash. I ran out of money.
This, I love how you think this isn't bleak.
No.
Help, I'm poor. I can't afford my medication, Jennifer. Like, fun. And she's just like, let me touch your butt. And that's it. Roll credits.
Dun, 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 dun.
J Master said, words. What are they, folks? Fun fact, Donnie Blaze was played by She-Hulk director Kat Coiro's real-life husband, Reese Coiro.
Oh,
That's okay.
that's fun.
There you go.
Good job. Way to direct your husband.
Nepotism.
Yeah, it
No,
works.
he's great.
Old story.
No one knows that.
The Inedible Hulk said Madison needs to take America Chavez out for pizza. I don't know if I want Madison around a child.
I think America.
driving?
Yeah. She needs some maybe more responsible adults around her.
I mean, she's-
Madison needs some responsible adults around
Yes.
her.
America Chavez is pretty much, can take care of herself, but
Yeah.
not a great role model.
But I really don't want have you tried blue curacao?
Yeah. She's got too much fun aunt energy.
Yeah, with Miss Marvel.
If you drink here, I know you won't drink with your friends.
Yeah.
Like that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, 100%.
It tastes like cotton candy.
John Weilbacher said, we've seen so many comedies with a guy going on dates with vapid or bad date women. It feels like this isn't doing anything we haven't seen tons before in the 80s and 90s, just now from the female perspective.
Well, and from a female perspective, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, a million times.
How awful dating can be. Which, dating can be awful. This is why I love serial monogamy.
And again, it just didn't feel quite specific enough to the she-hulkiness of it all.
Right.
To
That's
be,
exactly
yeah.
right. It's generically about bad dates
Yeah.
as opposed to being about She-Hulk's bad dates.
Yeah.
What's the worst date She-Hulk could have been on?
I thought you were going to ask what the worst date we've been on.
I mean,
was.
I also follow-up question. Would love to know this too.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's just like,
We're waiting.
what's next?
We're chuckling.
Just support.
And
there.
Philly G sending in some support. Thank you, Philly.
Oh, thanks, Philly. Well, thank you guys so much for being here to talk to us about this episode of She-Hulk. I know it didn't fire on all cylinders for all of us, but really we want to know about how you all felt about it. So thank you to those of you who wrote in for our super chats. We had something to discuss. And hey, if you're watching this later on, keep discussing the episode in the comments down below and let us know what you think. Once again, I want to thank DraftKings for sponsoring this episode. And I want to thank everybody in the room for being part of this show. Rob, we got Amy, we got Ray, we got Jonathan, we got Taylor back in the corner. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. We will be back tomorrow morning for another edition of the John Campea Show with your Batman Beyond crew. Woot, woot, woot. And then we'll also talk some Rings of Power tomorrow as well. So stay tuned for all of those. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell for all of our notifications. Until next time, we'll see you.